Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I was not expecting to do this video today because I actually put out a video last night on my members only feed kind of asking for help in wireframing is the USBank Smartly card cooked? And here we are tonight with a rumor from Doctor of Credit with a bunch of pieces from Reddit. And so let's just get into this. The rumor is that the USBank Visa credit card, the USBank Smartly Visa credit card is to be discontinued. Now, this is the exact text from Doctor of Credit. This link will be in the description. Let's just read it. File this under rumors, but a Reddit user was told by a branch rep that they received an email on Monday stating they could no longer apply for the USBank Smartly card in branch and were surprised that it was still available online, confirmed by another user. Another Reddit user spoke to our underwriting and were told that this card would be discontinued in about a month. Another user was told that that product changes were suspended. USBank also tightened the fee waiver requirements on the Smartly checking account, and USBank has sent out emails to some customers regarding business purchases. For this to be true, USBank must be losing a lot of money on this card already, as the card was only launched in November of 2024. That is the extent of the Doctor of Credit article rumor. But there's been a lot of smoke that this fire could actually be a fire. So let's get into that. The email to some cardholders regarding business purchases. Friend of the channel, Chad Puttingcuff, sent me forwarded his copy of that email. That email has been posted on Reddit. That email has gone around a little bit. There was a post on the Boggleheads forums about the USBank Smartly card and somebody going to Wealth Management and Wealth Management kind of saying that things were really bad with the card and that the card was probably going to get discontinued. Nobody really believed that person because they were like visiting Wealth Management. They weren't a Wealth Management customer. Friend of the channel, SpaethCo, has posted in the Stack Your Points Discord a picture of the statement for the Smartly card. For the Smartly checking account. Sorry, so the Smartly checking account part checks out. The email to cardholders regarding business purchases checks out. The sustained fire here of users reporting that going in branch, like they were told in branch, they can't apply in branch, that should check out. And if underwriting is saying that this card's going to be discontinued in about a month, with all these other things sort of having backing evidence to it, it sort of makes sense that this card may be going away sooner than expected. So what exactly happened here? Well, USBank announced a tiered reward system for the Smartly credit card and the Smartly checking system and the Smartly savings account that was way too easy to game. So folks were able to move over investments into USBank self-directed accounts. I did an interview with SpaethCo. I broke it up into two parts. SpaethCo talked about his experiences with that and his issues with self-directed. This was uncapped 4%, and you can only imagine how much spend was being put on these cards. I referenced the Bogglehead forums. Folks in that forum were gallivanting how much credit cycling they were doing on the card. I can only imagine how much they were racking up in rewards by credit cycling every month. This card was rife for manufactured spend. The fact that product changes are no longer available, we just saw Dugras of Dugras Reports highlight in his USBank Altitude Reserve retention call video that he asked about the Smartly card, and he was told Smartly was not available as a product change. So all of this kind of comes together to say that Smartly is going to be discontinued, and sooner than later it may appear. I can't believe that this card flamed out in only a few months. Well, let me rephrase. I can and I can't. How easy it was to get to 100K and kind of start gaming things was relatively easy to see. The fact that the card also launched with 0% APR in the first 12 months of holding the card, if you applied for a new card, the people who are credit cycling they're not going to pay interest. Anyone carrying a balance right now is not paying interest. So there's no interest revenue from the card coming in. At 4%, they're also wiping away most of their interchange fees. So, and by going into self-brokerage, instead of going through wealth management, instead of just parking 100,000 into a Smartly savings account or a Smartly checking account, like USBank doesn't get the same fees that they would otherwise. And they gave a whole bunch of different outs for negating fees, maintenance fees on checking accounts, on savings accounts, on all sorts of accounts. So the people who came in and like just destroyed this card with spend, they did a lot. They lived anything worth doing is worth overdoing to the max. And they killed this card in just under 2 quarters. I am amazed at how quickly this has fallen apart. Other things that could be a factor here. Very large consumer confidence shakes in the markets, in the larger macroeconomic issues or potential issues or soon to be issues. Maybe the bank isn't comfortable issuing a 4% unlimited card when inflation is still a problem. And now there's also word of potential stagflation. That's not going to be how you get people swiping their card, getting interchange fees, and trying to math out how you're going to make money. They didn't have a welcome offer on this card, but they were still paying out $450 in opening fee, in banking fees, bank rewards for folks opening a Smartly checking account. So they probably opened a large number of Smartly checking accounts in anticipation of this card. So that's $450. If they awarded that out to 1,000 customers, that's 450,000 customers. So they have lost a significant amount of money between Smartly checking, Smartly savings, whatever folks going the self-directed route instead of wealth management fees in terms of like bringing that 100,000 in. They've lost a ton of money, and that's before credit card rewards. And then you've got folks talking about how much money they were pushing through and how much money they were cycling through. Like USBank thought they could negate this with lower limits on the Smartly card. There are folks who got like relatively high limits on Smartly to start. Then there were folks who were getting capped with lower limits. Well, they just happen to have another USBank card that had a larger limit. They just product change over to Smartly. So it is not crazy to think that Smartly was going to fail. It is crazy to see how quickly Smartly may have failed already. So this is just really hard for me to comprehend. Like, I knew that Smartly wasn't sustainable. I knew that them retiring the USBank card for a second, the USBank Altitude Reserve for a second time, was probably not the best idea. It also didn't help that they were capping earnings on the Altitude Go and Altitude Connect. It didn't help that they, changed the way that you could redeem on the Altitude Connect if you didn't have a USBank checking account. So like they did all of these things in anticipation of Smartly. And then the floor still fell out on Smartly. I think macroeconomic factors are playing a pretty big role. I think the fact that they have lost potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars already, if not millions, in less than 6 months is playing an even bigger role. I think they're worried about consumer confidence in spending on the card. I know that they're also not making interest money on this card. If they issued a new card, they're not going to make interest on that. And if they allowed for product changes, the folks who are doing the product changes are not likely carrying interest month to month, especially if they're going to get 4% on their card. So if you hit the 3% tier, you're already netting out even to the bank, because they were just paying out your rewards as the interchange fee that they got in. So the interchange would come in, that just went right back out. So they weren't making money on the interchange fee. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but there is so much fire now that, you could see Smartly being discontinued. I am amazed at how quickly this happened. Now, could Smartly be saved? Yes, it could. The 4%, you may have to have 100,000 and spend at least $5,000. Well, they're not going to let you spend just $5,000 on the card. They're probably going to cap the monthly spending on the card, like the Alliant Federal Credit Union card, 2.5% card. That card, you have to have at least $1,000 in the account. You have to be doing at least some direct deposits into that account, and you have to. And you can only spend up to $10,000 per month for the 2.5%. The AOD card from AOD Federal Credit Union in Alabama, that is no longer, I'm not sure if it's no longer widely available, but that's 3% on the first $1,000 in spend. That used to be a 3% uncapped card until, Credit Card Reddit and the credit card community learned about it, started mass applying for it, and then they had to nerf that card. There are other cards that give more than 2.5%. But they all have stipulations on them. So USBank could save smartly by making it, capping it at 4%, starting at 4% and then dropping it to 2% after $5,000 in spend. Raising the premium rewards, the reward tier from 100,000 in assets with USBank up to 250,000 in assets with USBank. The Fidelity Visa card goes up to 3%, but you have to have $2 million in assets with Fidelity in order for that to be the case. So there's a possibility that Smartly could be saved, but it sure looks like they're just killing Smartly. Now, luckily for US Bank customers, US Bank has a bigger credit card graveyard than Citibank. There are a number of cards that are still supported by US Bank, like the FlexPerks cards. All the FlexPerks cards, they're still paying out those points. Those are still supported. The US Bank Altitude Reserve has been killed at least twice, maybe revived now, but who knows? But that card is still taken care of. They still have their disparate point systems. So it's still possible that Smartly will stick around even if discontinued. They're probably going to nerf it, but you could still get it as a flat 2% card and be good, or a flat 2.5% card or something like that. But man, this took a turn. I really don't know what to think here. It is crazy, but just wanted to put a video out real quick. Smartly appears to be getting discontinued sooner than expected. I'm flabbergasted, but if you like what I do, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Check out my channel membership. I just posted a 1-hour interview with Tariq from the Stack Your Points Discord. We talked about Southwest. We talked about wish list cards for him from IHG and Hyatt. It's a lengthy interview, but it's going to be cut up into 2 public videos coming out soon. Check out my pinned comment for ways to support me outside of YouTube. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you watching. Bye for now.